What's up, everyone? I just had to get my groove on to Janet Jackson because tonight I am doing the dark-sided Taurus female. Now, she's not a dark-sided Taurus female. Janet Jackson, actually, she's a real cool woman. But I do believe that she has displayed some dark-sided Taurus characteristics, so I'll get into that a little later. But welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Rabina Rastaban. And like I said, tonight I'm going to get into the dark-sided Taurus female. So before I get started, I have to make my disclaimer. So I am referring to the dark-sided Taurus female. So any Taurus females that are watching, please don't take this the wrong way. If you're not dark-sided, some of this or all of it may not apply to you. However, on some of your worst days, you may display some of these characteristics. But just keep in mind that I'm talking about those women that tend to lean on the dark side. Those people, those women that cause problems. They have relationship issues. They might cause trouble with family members, friends. They might just be very disagreeable all around. So the way I take it is most people are either on the dark side or the light side. So I'm just educating people on what signs they can look for to determine whether the person they're dealing with is dark-sided. So let's get into the dark-sided Taurus female. So the dark-sided Taurus female, first and foremost, is very stubborn, just like the dark-sided Taurus male. She resists change unless she's initiating it. And even when she's initiating that change, she'll be very slow at changing. She'll be very methodical in her approach. She'll take a long time to get moving and get things started. She's also very possessive. So in a relationship, she's going to be like basically hounding you, trying to figure out your whereabouts or keeping tabs up on you. She's possessive about everything, people, places, and things. She's even possessive when it comes to her friends. And another thing about the dark-sided Taurus female is you never really want to disappoint them as their friends because they'll never let you live it down. Also, as their mate, if you disappoint them, for instance, if you can't make an important event that they're hosting, they'll, hold a grudge about that because dark-sided Taurus female will hold grudges, and they'll never let you live that down. Another dark-sided Taurus female trait is that they can have these very high standards when it comes to behavior and when it comes to just living in general. So they can be very inflexible when it comes to dealing with people who have different standards or different values than they do. So expect the dark-sided Taurus female to be, she can be uppity at times if she is around people that do not share the same values and standards that she does. She might just, devalue you altogether if she doesn't agree with your philosophy or she doesn't go along with, your view or your perspective. Um, when it comes time to like try to get them to see that they're wrong at something, it's almost impossible. Again, it goes back to their stubborn nature. It's like talking to a brick wall. Basically, you can't get through to them, and when they're wrong, they're very wrong. Another dark-sided Taurus female trait is that they can be very particular about everything. So that deals with food, cooking, when it's time to eat, where you should eat, how everyone should eat, furnishings, clothing, decor. She's the type that wants to dress her man. So she does have a tendency to be a control freak. And again, it goes with having these high standards. She also has a tendency to be high maintenance. And that deals with Taurus loving luxury and the finer things in life and liking to, they like that lavish lifestyle. And Taurus loves to accessorize. And they like to give off this air of elegance and basically being the upper crust. So the dark-sided Taurus female, she'll take it too far and she just might come across as very garish or gaudy in her accessorizing. She might, her makeup might be a bit too heavy. She always needs to get her hair and nails done. The thing is, she's always going to the salon, but when she walks out, it's usually the same type of hairstyle. Just think about T-Boz. She's a Taurus. She's not dark-sided, though, but she's just an example. She's had that same hairstyle for years. I don't know if she still has, but I think she has like a variation of the same hairstyle. So Taurus will stick with what works for them. However, that shit could get stale after a while. So they need to like switch things up. But if you try to tell them that, they're not going to, basically take your advice because they're stubborn as hell. So also the dark sided Taurus female, she might, wear too much perfume. Again, like I said, wearing all this makeup and accessorizing too much, but she swears she looks good as shit. Um, Taurus is also about self-esteem and self-worth. So Taurus tends to have a very high degree of self-worth. However, a lot of dark-sided Taurus females grew up in a family or in a household where that self-worth or self-esteem wasn't promoted. So she either had one or both parents that really did damage on her self-worth. So she's going to basically portray that lack of self-worth in her adult life. So she's liable to either look to men to gain that self-worth, or to basically shop and accumulate a lot of possessions, buy a lot of clothes, buy a lot of jewelry to basically feel that sense of self-worth. Another dark-sided Taurus female trait is in the vein of being possessive. They could be very jealous, and again, it goes with that lack of self-esteem for the dark-sided ones. When a pretty woman walks into a room, and she's with her man, she gets very threatened. She tends to be uptight around her friends when her man is around, because she's so afraid that her friends are trying to push up on her man. So there could be difficulty with her friends in that respect, because she might accuse her friends of trying to push up on her man. Also, she's the type that will end a friendship because she believes or she suspects, or she just feels like her friend is too attractive and too much of a threat. So yeah, she can have low self-esteem, and it can really come across when other women come into her presence. Basically, she feels like every woman wants her man, and a lot of times that's not even the case. Another dark-sided Taurus female trait is they can't deal with anything unpleasant. So they will feign ignorance of serious issues until things get out of hand. Or they'll just look the other way, because Taurus is very security oriented, and they need stability in their lives. So the dark-sided Taurus female, she's the type that will be in a marriage, know her husband's cheating, but look the other way simply because he's bringing home the paycheck. He's paying all the bills. He's providing that sense of security. He's giving her that roof over her head, that beautiful, 5-bedroom home. So she'll look the other way, but then she'll be passive aggressive and take it out on him in other ways. So she'll just be giving him major attitude, or she'll be spending up all his money. She'll just be very, very petty. Another dark-sided Taurus woman trait is they can have skeletons in their closet. And that deals with their superficial nature. So Taurus can be very superficial, be all about appearances, trying to always seem like they're on the up and up on the surface. So to maintain that persona, they hide a lot of shit under the surface. So think about Janet Jackson and the rumors about her having that child with James DeBarge. And recently, some photos have surfaced of, I guess it's supposedly Randy Jackson's daughter, but this girl looks just like Janet Jackson. I mean, it looks like Janet Jackson spit her out. If you haven't seen the pictures, Google it. But yeah, to me, I think Janet Jackson did lie about that. I think that is her daughter, and that would definitely be a dark-sided Taurus female trait, trying to make shit seem like everything's cool on the surface, everything's kosher, that they don't do anything wrong. The dark-sided Taurus female, if you're just getting to know her, if you're trying to date her, she might lie about her sexual history. She might lie about the number of sex partners that she's had. She might lie about those lesbian encounters she had while in college. Yeah. Now, when she gets pushed to the limit, watch out, because she can get violent, just like the dark-sided Taurus male. And usually she'll get violent when her sense of security is threatened, or her livelihood, or her possessions, or her man. So she will fight a woman over her man. She's the classic type of female that will do that. Because again, like I said, she thinks every woman wants her man. She's also the type that will she holds a lot of shit in, because Taurus is a very peaceful sign. So even the dark side Taurus females, they don't really want to create any conflict. However, in the process of holding all of that negative energy in, they will explode when pushed to the limit. So yeah, if you try to pry into their past and they're trying to cover it up, and you're threatening that sense of security that they're trying to, portray, they can get violent in that vein too. So if you call them out what they feel like is their name, like if you call them a whore or a slut, or even if you might say that they're ugly because they're all about beauty, then they can get, they can get kind of violent with that too. The dark side ones, mind you. So that basically they'll beat a thief down. So yeah, don't ever steal from a Taurus, period. But also in relationships, they need to know your every move. I think I said that. Always checking about where you're at. If you're late, you better check in. If you're going through a breakup, they become stalkers, like some other signs like Scorpio and Cancer. So and a lot of times in when it comes to relationship troubles, and say like you're trying to patch things up with a dark side Taurus female, she can't leave well enough alone. So she's gonna keep on at you, and she's gonna try to keep you on your toes. And in the process of that, she's going to be pushing you further away. So sometimes they can't leave well enough alone. Also, they could be like some of the worst during breakups. If in a marriage and you're going through a divorce with them, they may leave you high and dry. If they're the one moving out, they're the type that will like basically clean you out of house and home, take all the furniture, take all the clothes, take everything, take all the food. Oh, and I forgot to mention with food, Taurus is a very indulgent sign. So Taurus loves to eat. The good Taurus and the bad Taurus. So the dark side of Taurus female, she is like obsessed with food. So she has a tendency to put on weight. Now a lot of Taurus females have beautiful bodies. Like they're very voluptuous, very shapely. However, they have the tendency to put on weight, either with age, it could be through pregnancy, it could be through a breakup, because they're the type to get out the ice cream when they're going through a breakup and eat the whole half gallon of ice cream. Um, so yeah, they could put away a plate of food, and they love comfort food. So the dark side of Taurus female, she could put on a lot of weight, and then be in denial about it at the same time. Now think about Janet Jackson again. When she's not touring, she has a tendency to put on weight. A lot of y'all seen those pictures when she was in that gray jogging suit, and her ass was just like plat down. I was like, wow, like. And the thing is, she didn't look bad with the weight on her. See, a lot of Taurus females, they can carry that extra weight and still look good, because Taurus is a sign where it's like that full body, like stocky, but also very attractive frame. But the dark side of Taurus female, she could take it too far with the food. Um, when it comes to parenting, she can be a very strict mother, be very superficial with her children, be all about appearances. She can play favorites, and she could pit one child against the other. If she has more than one child, she can also basically make one child responsible for everything, make one child the whooping boy. So she can be very unfair, and she could play favorites. Um, did I mention that in divorce she can create a lot of problems with custody and child support? She'll try to take you for all you have. She'll even make up shit in court about you. And if possible, she'll try to cut you out of her life completely if she gets to the point where she no longer values you. Also, going back to her style as a parent, she could be a helicopter parent, too involved with her child's life, want to dictate everything that goes on, want to choose the child's mate, want to choose the child's friends, want to choose the child's career path, want to choose the child's clothes all the time. And sometimes she expects too much out of her children. So sometimes she could be a little bit too hard and have too high standards. Again, it goes back to that standards. She's also the type, the dark-sided Taurus female, that will move in with her adult children if she doesn't have a life of her own. especially if her children are married, and that will create problems within her children's marriage, and she won't care. She might actually create problems on purpose just to have something to do. Now, she's the messy kind of dark sided Taurus female. She could be a hoarder. So that show about hoarders, um, a lot of those women may be dark sided Taurus women. Another thing I forgot to mention is along with the food, they tend to have an oral fixation, dark sided Taurus females. So, you know that show Strange Addiction? I would guess that a lot of those women that want to put things in their mouth, like plastic and just weird things, or chew on, like there was one woman that wanted to chew on the sofa cushions that foam inside, yeah. And then some of them wanted to eat dirt. That's actually a condition called pica. So I would think that pica is a dark-sided Taurus disorder because pica deals with earth and minerals, and that's Taurus. So yeah, they can have an oral fixation. Actually makes them good when it comes to giving head. Some of you guys can attest to that with some of these Taurus females. So yeah, they can give good head now. Yeah. So they tend to have oral fixation. Always gotta have something in their mouth. And that goes along with them wanting to eat, so they put on weight that way. Now, in terms of sex, they could be two types. They could be very lazy when it comes to sex, just want to lay there and be pretty and have the man do all the work. Or they could be very controlling and very methodical, where they want to set the scene and set the tone and have the right ambiance and light the incense, light the candles, and have that aromatherapy going on and have that soft music playing, and everything has to be just right. And, you know, they're using techniques that they learned in the Kama Sutra on their man. So the dark sided Taurus female, she might be so methodical that after a while it seems too rehearsed and too mechanical. So she might lack that spontaneity. That's another thing. Dark sided Taurus females lack spontaneity. They have a tendency to become bores after a while, and then they wonder why their man's cheating on them. Just, you know, just very, okay, we're going to do things in this, you know, according to this program, and we have to do things on, we're going to have sex on Saturday nights, and that's our date night. Everything has to be according to some type of schedule or routine with them, because again, they need that stability and need to feel secure. So they have a tendency to play it too safe. They don't like to take risks. Like I said, they don't like change. They don't like their whole security to be disrupted. And the last thing is, for the very dark-sided Taurus female, she has a tendency to go along with her dark-sided male's program. So let me give you a perfect example. There was a dark-sided Taurus female named Susan Atkins, and she was one of Charlie Manson's females in that whole Charles Manson cult with the murders of Sharon Tate and all of that back in the late 60s. So she actually stated in her diary or something that she molested her infant son because Charlie Manson encouraged that or whatever. So the dark-sided Taurus female to the extreme, if she values and respects and loves her man, will go along with his dark-sided program and feed into his dark-sided nature and encourage it and go along with it. So yeah, they can be really low down when they're following someone else, and that's what I mean about when they're wrong. They could be dead wrong, but it's hard to get them to see the light. So that's basically my take on the dark-sided Taurus female. Please feel free to comment. Please like and subscribe. um my next video will be on the dark-sided Gemini female. Please stay tuned for that. Peace and blessings. I'm out.